What?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage secretaries, and can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, I guess they were because they were there. I seen them. I seen them myself. It's all true. It's all true.
Good evening, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
At least 15. At least 15, man. God, disgusting. 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 Black men follow that man. And speaking of black men following black men, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All skin folk and kinfolk. What an appropriate hoodie for this video. So click the link below, 9Y. Do yourself a favor. Short film, the greatest short film you'll probably ever watch. I'm gonna have to stop this. Let's cut the light on. Nah, that's kind of distracting, right? All right, it's making some noise. All right. Ugas and Stankonia have agreed. Stankonia was a PBC fighter, or Al Heyman never, ever not becomes your advisor. Never, never. No matter what you do, he's still your advisor, okay? Chavez Jr., Daniel Jacobs, Amir Khan, the list goes on and on and on. Fighters that have left him and still he gets his whatever he charges for his advisor fees. And if you look at some of my videos, it's basically through perpetuity. There's nothing you can do to get out of it, right? All right. And then he's fighting Ugas. Ugas and Errol Spence just got done dirty. And you say, Fred, what are you talking about? See, every other YouTube media outlet is going to say Earl just got screwed. Oh, the WBA screwed Earl. No, man, the devil's in the details, y'all. Devil's in the details. All right. I talked about this a year and a half ago about how the business of boxing will compromise Earl Spence due to that accident, and now he got the eye injury. The money in boxing is not 100% behind Earl Spence. It was after he beat Sean Porter. He had a fight date already. Now, I don't know where they're at, but they're not all in like they were after he beat Sean Porter. Ugas. Y'all remember Ugas fought Sean Porter? Y'all forgot Ugas was the opponent. You say, Fred, why bring that up? Because there was only 500 to 1,000 people there. Why was there only a 500 to 1,000 people there? You ready? Because Ugas was the opponent. Did y'all go watch? Did y'all pay in LA? All the boxing fans that say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Did y'all pay? Go buy a ticket to go watch that fight that Saturday night? No. But you damn sure paid for the Mikey Garcia pay-per-view. That was Errol Spence, right? And then fast forward to Manny Pacquiao versus Ugas. Now this ain't for the this video ain't for like the fans that just watch boxing high and by and this and that. Ugas, Manny Pacquiao did terrible business. Who won the fight? Haha, you got it. Who was the opponent before the fight? I'm waiting. Who was the opponent before the fight? It was Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao for the WBA Super Championship. Oh, was it the WBA? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. But who was the opponent? Earl Spence, right? And then they put in Ugas. I just burnt my tickets. I didn't even sell them. It wasn't even worth selling. You know what I mean? So I wasn't gonna get nothing for them, and so I just burnt them. And that fight did nothing. Now let me ask you guys a question. If Manny Pacquiao had won that fight, who would have Manny Pacquiao have fought January, February of next year? Drum roll, please. Da-da-da-da. Earl Spence Jr. Why is Ugas not fighting Earl Spence Jr.? Because they can't put Ugas on pay-per-view. They did it with Manny Pacquiao and it flopped. You get it? Who manages Ugas? Because y'all just overlooking this one key word. I'm waiting. Luis DeCoupas and Al Heyman. There was an A word in that. It says agreed to terms. So purse bid was rejected. Agreed to terms. Who's paying out? Who's paying? Al Heyman, right? If this fight is on Fox or PBC, and at one of their arenas, this is an Al Heyman play. There's no money to make a mistake again. Canelo ran off with the plug. They got him for 50 mil. With an upside, probably. I don't know what the upside was. And now Earl is stuck with his hands in between his legs, and they're going to force Earl. They got to make some money now. Al Heyman wants that Terrence Crawford fight. No doubt about it in my head. I'm not way off in my ideals and perspectives because I have common sense. Y'all just going to speak from a angry fan's perspective. I follow the money. And if Tank Davis can hold 2 WBA belts going into the Isaac Cruz fight, how come Earl Spence can't fight for a WBA belt? I repeat, if Tank Davis can go into a fight with Isaac Cruz with 2 WBA belts, 140, 135, and if let me finish this. If he can go in there with 2 belts, what makes you think they can't make Ugas Earl Spence? Okay, let's go back a little bit. If Leo Santa Cruz hasn't defended that 120-pound belt since when? Since February 20th, 2000. Whatever date that was, he fought on the kid from Houston on Wilder's undercard. Am I right? I'm somewhere in there. He's had the belt for 2 years and is yet to unify. He's the super champion at 126, y'all. So guess what now? Leo Santa Cruz has a WBA belt. Tank Davis is now the mandatory. Will be the mandatory for Kambosos. Oh, they about to put that in the play. Oh, that play is coming in. We saw that a mile away before the fight. I told y'all. Y'all think I just be talking? Just to be talking? Y'all think Al Heyman is a saint? Al Heyman is Saul. He ain't Paul. This man got $1 billion hanging over his head because the PBC experiment failed. Failed miserably. He should have followed the UFC format, and it failed. He didn't keep the fighters hungry. You got to keep your dogs hungry. If you overfeed them, they gonna sleep all day. Do y'all get the logic? Or y'all just gonna pretend like, oh, Al Heyman doesn't believe in Earl Spence like y'all think he do. This is a fact. Al Heyman does not believe Earl. He doesn't believe in them 100% that Earl is physically able to defend and carry the PBC banner. That's a fact. I don't care what he tells Earl. Because Tank Davis walked into the Isaac Cruz fight with 2 WBA belts, 2 JV belts. How does he have a belt? And guess what? Rolly has a belt. And you guys follow me? Ugas has to defend his belt in a tournament as the super champion. Leo Santa Cruz gets to sit on his belt as the super champion. But there's no tournament at 135 with Tank Davis and Rolly and everybody else. Do you get it? Or are you guys still lost? It's called Business 101. Al Heyman is about to make a play for Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence. He has to. It's the only money fight he has left. Somebody has to save PBC. Canelo stuck him up for $50 million. Now, y'all can be emotional and say Fred crazy, Fred hates it. I don't respect that. I told you guys. So you can supplement respect for hate, dislike. I don't respect him because he's not a black man. He is not. He is a green man. He's not pro-black. If he was pro-black, all these black fighters would be on the undercard and not these Latinos. If he was pro-black, Sam Watson would have a promotional company. If he was pro-black. He's not pro-black. Blacks are most profitable in the business of sports, in the business of entertainment. It's a fact. Now, if y'all would have listened to me and protected Gary Russell, no matter if you say he ducked, didn't fight, mandatory, this and that, I tried to make it make sense. But you don't understand until it happens to your favorite fighter. You don't understand until a cop pulls you over and unjustly searches your car or unjustly harasses you, shoots you, murders you. And then you understand, like, oh, big picture. We should be fighting from day one. We should be building from within from day one. Y'all are too afraid. Y'all bought Tank Davis pay-per-view, but making videos about Earl Spence. Y'all kissing Floyd Mayweather's behind and then making videos about Earl Spence today. That's what every media is saying. The WBA, I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 media outlets is going to say, the WBA just did Earl wrong. No, the business of boxing has done Earl wrong. Al Heyman knows what those doctor reports say. No matter what Earl Spence says, Al Heyman does not believe in him like he did after the Sean Porter fight. Earl Spence had a fight date going into the Sean Porter fight. Do you understand that? It was January 25th of the 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all better get on y'all P's and Q's. And these are all facts, by the way. Y'all think Eddie Hearn is any different from Al Heyman? Do you? One would think, if you think about it, Eddie Hearn's probably been more successful using OPMs than Al Heyman. We'll see. Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman are neck and neck. Adrian Broner's like he's going over to the zone. I'm telling you. Al Heyman had a $930 million and failed. I don't respect that man. I don't. Y'all can call me what you want. I know what happens behind the scenes. I know a percentage of his fighters are driving Uber Eats, and have to get jobs. I know that because they talk to me. All those fighters at TMT. Leonard will be taking their purses because he has a gambling habit. I know all of this. I'm going to do a video on this probably today or tomorrow. They took half of Luis Arias' purse. Yes. They paid him out of pocket. Floyd and Leonard paid him out of pocket. They took his purse. This is not a game, y'all. This is real life. Y'all applying Christian values when people are dealing with money. Christian values don't apply to money. Did you see your family after grandma died at the funeral? Grandpa died. They had those 2 houses. Y'all didn't see that? No one's a Christian then. Huh? Oh, how about the Nation of Islam with Malcolm X? Oh, Allah, Allah Akbar, Allah ka 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 ka. But you wish death upon another black man. Whenever money gets in the way, money would when Earl, you better get your money. Terrence, I'm gonna tell you something. You better not let Earl get in that ring with another fighter. Earl, you better fight Terrence Crawford next. I don't know what can happen in your next fight. I don't know how you are physically, mentally, but let me tell you something. That fight will not get hotter than what it is now. I'm telling you. How come Canelo can line up for all the belts, but Earl can't? Y'all gonna blame it on the sanctioning bodies. This is a plan. This is a plan. How come they didn't let it go to purse bid? It's not an expensive fight. They agreed. Don't you know what agreed means? That means two or more parties are complicit. Agreed. 2 or more parties shook hands on a deal that quite possibly could benefit both of them. That's what agreed means. Right? If you don't want someone else to have something, you take it. Or if you're the asset, you starve them from your asset. You don't see PBC fighters dropping their WBA belts nowhere. Didn't Floyd Mayweather say there's too many belts? And then what happens? Rolly and Tank got 2 belts at 135. Yeah, Al Heyman called him, was like, shut that shit up. He ain't never mentioned it again. You know why? Because Al Heyman told him to shut that shit up. You know how I know? Because I know. Al Heyman, like, you messing up the business, Floyd. Shut up. He's never said it's been too many belts since then. I know these things. Every time I do videos that protects fighters and tells the truth, every fighter contacts me. Not every fighter. And they say, keep going. That's why I know so much. Y'all just happy to buy tickets and buy pay-per-views. The pay-per-view numbers should be coming out today, right? It's Wednesday, 3 or 4 days. We'll see. If it's not 350,000, Floyd Mayweather is not an asset to Tank Davis. Plain and simple. So anyways, man, I just thought I'll fill in the gaps for y'all. This is the truth. Because boxing scene and who else? Dan Raphael. Dan Raphael kind of knows the truth a little bit, but you know, that they're gonna say the WBA just stepped on Earl, just rained on Earl Spence parade. No, the business of boxing has just told Earl, we're not behind you like we were after the Sean Porter fight. That's all. That's the truth. I'm not lying. Remember, Earl went from Fox built a whole schedule that led up to Earl Spence, Mikey Garcia. You remember that? Sean Porter fought the week before because I flew out that Tuesday to Dallas. You remember that? And then in September, he fought Earl Spence. So the whole play, Ugas and Sean Porter were preparing a plate for Earl Spence. The whole PBC calendar was geared towards Earl Spence. It's not that in 2021, leading into 2022. It was that in 2019. Earl was hot. And a year and a half ago, I told you that they were gonna be more rogue and rough with Earl Spence moving forward. He's a damaged asset to the business of boxing. And this is just how they play the game. And guess what? Al Heyman has a boss. Whoever's the head of CBS and whoever's the head of Fox. Al Heyman didn't build his own network. He's doing the same thing Eddie Hearn is with DAZN, but y'all don't see it. I'm not putting one before the other. Raise your hand if you challenged, went nose to nose with Eddie Hearn and challenged him. Raise your hand if you went nose to nose with Oscar De La Hoya and challenged him. Raise your hand if you went nose to nose with Bob Arum and challenged him. Raise your hand if you went nose to nose with Al Heyman and challenged him. No one has. He's a ghost. He won't even do interviews. Y'all protecting a man that's not even helping you build your platform, dog. But you know, I'm talking to people who believe in white Jesus. So what do I know, man? God said God is going to heal us. You know, I mean, He's going to heal you, but you know what? But not during slavery. Not during the Jim Crow era. After Jim Crow, you know, when you guys after the Voters' Right Act, after the Civil Rights Bill, God will start protecting black people. Barbershop Conversations, man. This is the realest I've ever spoke. Stop choosing promoters. I'm telling y'all. Oh, someone called me. Anyways, I got to take a call. Barbershop Conversations. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. And I'll talk to you guys real soon. 9 Wise below. Click the link. Holla, holla, holla. Peace.